Let me tell you something. When you deal with a narcissist, you are dealing with a master of manipulation. They don't want truth, they want control. They don't want resolution, they want attention. And if you call them out, all you're doing is feeding their fire. That's what they want. A reaction, a fight, a show. And if you give it to them, they win. When dealing with a narcissist, you have to understand one fundamental truth. They don't play fair. They don't engage in conversations to seek truth or resolution. They engage to control, to manipulate, and to twist reality in their favor. A narcissist doesn't argue with facts. They argue with emotion, distortion, and deception. They thrive on your reaction. And the moment you expose them, they turn the tables, making you the villain. You may think that calling them out will make a difference, that if you just expose them, if you just present the truth clearly enough, they'll have no choice but to admit their faults. But that's not how they operate. A narcissist is a master of deflection. The moment they feel exposed, they don't take accountability, they shift blame. They will make you question your own reality, your own motives, and even your own sanity. You could have undeniable proof, concrete evidence, and yet somehow by the end of the conversation, they'll have you defending yourself instead. This is the trap that so many people fall into. They believe that by confronting the narcissist, they will force them to change. But a narcissist doesn't change because of confrontation. They change when they lose their audience, when they no longer have access to manipulate, when their power is taken from them, not by words, but by silence, by distance, and by a refusal to engage in their toxic games. When you call out a narcissist, you give them ammunition. They don't see it as an opportunity to reflect. They see it as an opportunity to retaliate. They will take your words and twist them. They will paint themselves as the victim. They will rally others against you, manipulating people into believing that you are the problem. They will gaslight, defame, and distort the truth until you are left wondering if you were the one who did something wrong. That's how they win, not with truth, but with deception. So what do you do instead? You recognize the game for what it is. You understand that arguing with a narcissist is like playing chess with someone who flips the board the moment they start to lose. You see, the moment you react, the moment you engage, you step into their arena, and in their arena, they make the rules. But the power lies in refusing to play. The power lies in recognizing that no matter how much truth you speak, no matter how much evidence you provide, some people are committed to misunderstanding you. Instead of calling them out, you take away what they crave the most. Your reaction, your energy, your attention. You shift your focus from proving a point to protecting your peace. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what they say, it's about what you allow. It's about understanding that some battles are won not by fighting, but by walking away. God sees what is done in the dark. You don't need to expose anyone, because in time, their own actions will expose them. The truth always rises. You don't need to force it. The more you engage, the more you exhaust yourself trying to prove something to someone who will never acknowledge it. But when you step back, when you stop feeding into their games, when you place your trust in God's justice rather than your own need to be heard, you take back your power. People waste years trying to change someone who refuses to change. They spend sleepless nights replaying conversations, questioning their own sanity, wondering if they should have said something differently. But real freedom comes when you realize that you don't need to participate in their delusions. You don't need to be understood by someone who thrives on misunderstanding. A narcissist wants control. And the moment you stop seeking validation from them, the moment you stop needing them to see the truth, you take that control away. You win not by proving them wrong, but by showing them that they never had power over you to begin with. So don't call them out. Don't waste your breath trying to make them see what they refuse to see. Trust God, move in wisdom, and let time, silence, and success be your loudest response. True power is not found in how loud you can be, how quickly you can react, or how forcefully you can prove a point. Real power lies in self-control. It's the ability to remain calm when someone is pushing every button, trying to get a reaction out of you. It's the discipline to walk away from an argument you know is designed to trap you. It's the wisdom to understand that not every battle is meant to be fought head-on. When you deal with manipulative people, especially narcissists, the greatest tool they use against you is your own emotions. They provoke, they poke, they test your patience, all in an attempt to make you explode. Because the moment you lose control, the moment you raise your voice, the moment you act out of anger or frustration, they win. Why? Because now they can point the finger at you. Now they can shift the narrative and say, see, you're the problem. You're the irrational one. You're the one who's out of control. But when you master self-control, you take that weapon away from them. When you refuse to react, when you maintain your composure in the face of provocation, you strip them of their ability to manipulate you. They can push all they want, but if you don't move, if you don't engage, they have nothing to work with. And that frustrates them more than anything. Self-restraint is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of incredible strength. It takes strength to hold your tongue when you want to speak your mind. It takes strength to resist the urge to defend yourself when you are falsely accused. It takes strength to walk away when your pride wants to stay and fight. But in that strength, you gain freedom. Because the moment you realize you don't have to engage, you don't have to react, and you don't have to prove anything to anyone, you set yourself free. Many people think that by confronting a manipulator, by calling them out, by proving their lies, they are winning the battle. But in reality, the battle is won when you no longer feel the need to respond at all. When you reach a place where their words no longer have power over you, where their tactics no longer affect you, that is when you truly win. Because that means they no longer control your emotions, your peace, or your mind. There's a reason why Proverbs 16:32 says, better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city. Because real power is not about how many battles you can fight. It's about how many battles you can walk away from without letting them disturb your spirit. People who lack self-control are like a city without walls, vulnerable to every attack, easily influenced by every insult, quickly destabilized by every challenge. But when you have self-control, you are fortified, you are unshaken, you are untouchable. No matter what is said, no matter what is done, no matter how much someone tries to drag you into conflict, you remain standing, unbothered, unmoved. That's the kind of strength that truly wins in life. Because the moment you stop reacting, you start thinking clearly. The moment you stop engaging in battles that don't serve you, you start walking in wisdom. The moment you stop letting others dictate your emotions, you start living in peace. Self-control doesn't mean you ignore injustice. It doesn't mean you tolerate abuse. It means you choose your battles wisely. It means you recognize when speaking will change nothing and when silence will say everything. It means you understand that not every fight is worth your energy, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply walk away and focus on your own growth, your own purpose, and your own peace. Because at the end of the day, the people who try to provoke you, the people who try to manipulate you, the people who want to see you react are not worth your time. They are distractions, they are tests, and if you pass the test of self-control, if you refuse to let them pull you into their chaos, you walk away stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before. So the next time someone tries to get a reaction out of you, the next time someone says something to push your buttons, the next time someone tries to pull you into a battle that isn't worth your time, pause, breathe, remember that your peace is worth more than their drama, and walk away knowing that true strength is found not in how loud you can be, but in how silent you can remain in the face of provocation. Because that silence, that control, that wisdom, that is where real power lives. There are moments in life when you will be wronged, betrayed, or treated unfairly. People will lie about you, manipulate situations, and try to turn others against you. Your first instinct might be to fight back, to prove them wrong, to expose them for who they truly are. But before you do anything, you need to understand one thing. There is a power far greater than you, and that power is God. When you trust in God's justice, you release the burden of trying to make things right on your own. Many people waste their energy seeking revenge, trying to force the truth to come out, and obsessing over how to make sure those who have wronged them get what they deserve. But what they don't realize is that in doing so, they are giving power to the very people who hurt them. The more you focus on them, the more you allow them to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions. That is exactly what they want. They want you to be consumed with them. They want you to be distracted. They want to see you caught up in anger and resentment, because as long as you are focused on them, you are not focused on your purpose. God sees everything. Nothing goes unnoticed. You don't have to expose anyone. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to prove yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. In time, the truth will come out. In time, their own actions will be their downfall. In time, God will handle what you cannot. There is no need to seek revenge when you serve a God who promises that justice is his. The Bible says in Romans 12:19, do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. That means you don't have to fight back. You don't have to stress over how to get even. You don't have to lower yourself to their level. God's justice is perfect. His timing is precise. And when he moves, he does it in ways that you never could. The problem is many people struggle with trusting God's timing. They want justice now. They want to see their enemies fall immediately. But God's ways are not our ways. Sometimes he allows certain people to rise for a season, not because he has forgotten about the wrongs they've done, but because he is setting up something far greater. Sometimes he allows situations to unfold in ways we don't understand because he is building our character, strengthening our faith, and preparing us for something better. When you trust God's justice, you shift your focus from them to him. You stop worrying about what they are saying and start focusing on what God is doing in your life. You stop wasting time on meaningless battles and start putting your energy into becoming the person God created you to be. That is how you truly win, not by proving them wrong, not by fighting back, but by rising above. There is something powerful about watching God work on your behalf. There is something freeing about knowing that you don't have to carry the weight of revenge or justice on your shoulders. When you truly believe that God is in control, you stop chasing validation from people who don't matter. You stop trying to explain yourself to those who will never listen. You stop giving energy to those who don't deserve it. Instead, you focus on your growth, your purpose, and your faith. And when you do that, when you fully surrender the situation to God, something incredible happens. Peace replaces anger. Clarity replaces confusion. Strength replaces weakness. You no longer feel the need to react because you know that no one gets away with anything in the eyes of God. What is done in the dark will always be brought to light. Those who scheme, those who manipulate, those who build their success on lies, eventually they will fall. Not because of anything you did, but because of what God allows. The best thing you can do is trust, keep moving forward, and let God handle the rest. If you spend your life trying to fight every person who wrongs you, you will never have peace. If you spend your days seeking revenge, you will never grow. But if you trust in God's justice, if you truly believe that he is working things out in your favor, you will find a level of freedom that no one can take away from you. So let go. Let God deal with what you cannot. Stop stressing over people who don't deserve your energy. Stop trying to fix things that are not yours to fix. Instead, put your faith in the one who never fails. Keep walking, keep growing, and keep trusting that in the end, God's justice will always prevail. There comes a point in life when you must decide where to invest your energy. You can either pour it into battles that drain you or into a purpose that builds you. You cannot do both. When dealing with toxic people, manipulators, and narcissists, the greatest mistake you can make is allowing them to pull you into their world of drama, mind games, and negativity. They want you distracted. They want you emotionally exhausted. They want you so caught up in their nonsense that you lose sight of what truly matters: your purpose, your growth, and your future. When you waste time arguing with people who will never see the truth, you give them control over your life. When you spend hours thinking about what they did, how unfair they were, or how to make them see your side, you are robbing yourself of precious time and energy that could be used to build something meaningful. Narcissists and toxic individuals thrive on keeping you in a cycle of emotional turmoil. The more you focus on them, the more they win. But the moment you take that focus away, the moment you shift your energy towards your purpose and God's plan for you, everything changes. Instead of reacting to every attack, redirect that energy into something that moves you forward. Instead of explaining yourself to people who refuse to listen, let your actions and success be the answer. Instead of fighting for validation, work in silence and let time reveal the truth. Your purpose is bigger than their games. Your future is greater than their schemes. And your destiny is too valuable to waste on proving yourself to people who never had your best interest at heart. People who are walking in their calling do not have time for petty arguments. They do not have time to sit and wonder what others think about them. They do not waste time trying to control narratives that do not align with their truth. They are too focused, too driven, and too committed to becoming everything they were created to be. They understand that their energy is sacred, and they do not spend it on things that do not serve them. When you shift your focus from people to purpose, you take back your power. You stop moving according to their agenda and start moving according to your vision. You stop responding to every insult, every rumor, and every false accusation, and instead you let your work, your growth, and your success speak for you. Nothing frustrates a manipulator more than seeing you unbothered, thriving, and at peace. They expect you to fall apart. They expect you to waste your time chasing their approval. But when you rise above, when you elevate yourself mentally, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, they no longer have control over you. One of the biggest lessons in life is understanding that not everything deserves a response. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every insult needs a reply. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply move forward. The more time you spend arguing with fools, the more you begin to look like one. The more energy you waste proving yourself, the more you delay your progress. But when you shift that energy towards building your future, you position yourself for true success. This is why trusting God is so important. When you know that He is in control, you stop feeling the need to defend yourself all the time. When you know that He sees everything, you stop worrying about proving your side of the story. When you know that He is guiding your steps, you stop seeking revenge because you trust that He will handle things far better than you ever could. Walking in purpose requires discipline. It requires focus. It requires knowing what is worth your time and what is not. Every time you engage in unnecessary battles, you are delaying your own blessings. Every time you give in to the temptation to fight back, you are wasting an opportunity to move forward. But when you commit to staying focused, when you commit to keeping your eyes on the vision God placed in your heart, no distraction, no manipulator, and no enemy can stop you. Think about the most successful people you admire. They are not the ones spending their days arguing with critics. They are not the ones explaining themselves to every person who doubts them. They are too busy building, creating, and elevating. They understand that success is the greatest response, that growth is the greatest revenge, that peace is the greatest proof of strength. And that is the mindset you must adopt if you truly want to rise above the toxicity around you. Your energy is precious. Your time is valuable. Your focus is your power. Do not waste it on people who are not growing, who are not evolving, and who are not moving in the direction you are headed. The more you focus on purpose, the more everything else fades into the background. The noise, the drama, the distractions, they lose their power over you. Because when you are committed to your future, you no longer have time for anything that does not align with it. Rise above. Stay focused. Trust that God is handling what you cannot. And remember, the best way to prove anything is not with words, but with action. Let them talk, let them assume, let them misunderstand you. You just keep moving, keep building, and keep trusting that the purpose God has for you is far greater than any battle you could fight. Peace is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and one of the hardest things to maintain in a world full of distractions, conflicts, and negativity. When dealing with difficult people, especially narcissists and manipulators, the most powerful decision you can make is to guard your peace at all costs. They thrive on chaos. They feed off drama. Their goal is to drag you into their storm, to make you as miserable and unsettled as they are. But you do not have to participate. You do not have to engage. You do not have to let them disrupt your spirit. Protecting your peace does not mean you ignore problems or tolerate disrespect. It means you learn to choose your battles wisely. It means you stop allowing toxic people to dictate your emotions. It means you refuse to let their negativity infiltrate your mind and heart. True strength is not found in how well you can argue or how aggressively you can defend yourself. It is found in how well you can remain calm when the world around you is trying to pull you into turmoil. Many people spend their lives reacting. They react to every insult, every misunderstanding, every false accusation. But when you live in a constant state of reaction, you are giving away your power. You are allowing external circumstances to control your internal state. That is exactly what narcissists want. They want to see you flustered. They want to see you disturbed. They want to know that they can manipulate your emotions whenever they please. But when you make the conscious decision to guard your peace, you take that power away from them. There is a reason why Jesus said in John 14:27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." That peace is something no one can take from you unless you allow them to. The world will always bring problems, challenges, and difficult people. But when you walk in the peace that comes from God, you realize that none of it has to shake you. Some battles are won not by engaging, but by walking away. Some situations are best handled not with words, but with silence. Some people are best defeated not through confrontation, but through complete disinterest. Nothing confuses a manipulator more than realizing they no longer have access to your emotions. They can try to provoke you, but you do not react. They can try to bait you into an argument, but you refuse to engage. They can try to drag you into their dysfunction, but you stand firm in your peace. That is power. Too many people go through life exhausted, not because they are physically tired, but because they are mentally and emotionally drained from constantly fighting unnecessary battles. They are trying to prove themselves to people who will never acknowledge their worth. They are trying to defend themselves against lies that do not deserve a response. They are allowing toxic relationships, gossip, and negativity to take up space in their minds. But the moment you decide to protect your peace, you free yourself. You realize that not everything requires your energy. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every attack needs a defense. You are not obligated to give everyone access to your life. You are not required to answer every phone call, respond to every message, or entertain every toxic conversation. You have the right to set boundaries. You have the right to walk away from anything that disrupts your spirit. You have the right to choose peace over drama, wisdom over conflict, and silence over chaos. People may call you cold for not engaging. They may say you are running away from conflict. They may accuse you of being weak because you refuse to argue. But understand this: peace is not weakness. It takes strength to walk away when your pride wants to stay and prove a point. It takes strength to remain silent when your emotions want to respond. It takes strength to let go of a battle you know you could win, simply because you value your peace more than the satisfaction of proving someone wrong. The world teaches us to fight back, to defend ourselves at all costs, to make sure our side of the story is heard. But God teaches us something different. He teaches us to be still, to trust Him, to understand that sometimes the greatest victory is found in walking away. Proverbs 17:27-28 says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." That means wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. It means understanding that you do not have to respond to everything. It means realizing that not every battle is worth fighting, because at the end of the day, no one can disturb your peace unless you allow them to. No one can shake your spirit unless you open the door and let them in. When you make peace your priority, you gain clarity. You begin to see situations for what they truly are. You recognize distractions for what they are. You understand that some people are only in your life to test you, to see if they can steal your joy. But once you decide that your peace is more important than their chaos, you take back control. You start focusing on what truly matters: your growth, your purpose, your relationship with God. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them spread their negativity. None of it concerns you, because while they are busy trying to pull you into conflict, you are too busy walking in purpose. While they are plotting against you, you are focused on building something greater. While they are stuck in their toxic cycles, you are moving forward with peace in your heart and a clear mind. So protect your peace, guard it fiercely. Do not let anyone take it from you. Because once you have true peace, you have something more valuable than any argument, any temporary victory, or any approval from people who were never meant to be part of your journey in the first place. At the end of the day, the greatest power you hold is not in fighting battles that drain you, but in knowing when to walk away, when to trust God, and when to focus on what truly matters. Narcissists, manipulators, and toxic individuals thrive on conflict, but you were not created to live in chaos. You were created for a purpose far greater than proving yourself to people who will never see your worth. Trust in God's justice. He sees what you cannot, He knows the truth, and in His perfect timing, everything hidden will be revealed. Let go of the need to expose, to defend, or to retaliate. Redirect your energy toward growth, purpose, and becoming the person God designed you to be. Every moment spent trying to fix what is not yours to fix is a moment stolen from your destiny. Your peace is your power, guard it. Your focus is your weapon, sharpen it. Your faith is your foundation, strengthen it. Rise above the distractions, silence the noise, and move with wisdom. The greatest revenge is not in words or conflict, but in living a life so full of purpose, peace, and success that no enemy, no lie, and no betrayal can shake you. So let them talk, let them assume, let them scheme. None of it will matter when you stay rooted in faith, unshaken by the storm, and committed to the path God has for you. Keep moving forward. Keep trusting. Keep becoming. Because in the end, the victory belongs to those who refuse to be distracted and choose instead to walk in divine purpose.